Hey, it's Stephanie Ferrara, your Empowered Creativity Coach. I hope you are having a most amazing day today. As a Christ centered business branding coach, I help women business owners who are really feeling stuck and frustrated in their coaching or course creation business to break out from that stuckness. Using visualization, prayer, and your own uniqueness, I help you develop a brand that it was 100% authentically you while attracting your most ideal and profitable clients like a magnet. One of the things that I love to do is to interview other business owners. I love hearing about their journey, how they decided to get into business, and where they're going from here. Today, I have Stephanie Leaf with me, and I'm so excited for you to meet her. Well, Stephanie, I'm so glad that you are here today. I'm excited to talk to you, learn more about your business and your business journey, and share that with my audience, and really talk to you about just what you have going on, what's new, what's coming up, and how you've gotten to where you are today in your business, and all of that. So, welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
Yes, tell
Yeah,
us about yourself.
sure. So my name is Stephanie Leaf. I am a simple living, self-sufficiency blogger and coach in the process of helping other people to busy moms, busy families incorporate simple living, self-sufficiency techniques into their modern busy lives without having to go off the grid or strictly change their lifestyle. So some of the things that I help people with, and I'm starting to go through with my journey with my family, is heavily cooking from scratch, gardening. We're consistently growing our garden and experimenting with new things. So that's something that I help my audience with, as well as homemade products and cleaning, all natural, non-toxic cleaning and personal product. Basically, making your own homemade, homegrown, natural stuff in your home. I think it's hard for modern busy families now to do these kinds of things, and my message is really that you can incorporate these things into your busy life without going off into the country and living on a farm or ranch or something crazy like that. So that's kind of my message to everyone.
I think that's really cool because I know there are so many of us that we don't have the time to really do all the things. And like you said, I know when I was, I don't know, probably 7, 8 years ago, I got involved in some groups that were very much into prepping and all of that, and I just couldn't get my I just couldn't wrap my head around some of that, and
Right.
it seemed like just so much to do. But I think on a small scale, it's good to have some of those skills and be able to really be more self-sufficient. I know I'm not a gardener, but I do
Mhm.
like using natural things in my home. I use essential oils all the time for things. And I like cooking from fresh. I don't do a lot of cooking because of the time and our busy
Right.
schedules. So I'm interested in some of that and how you can incorporate that, especially into those busy lives like most of us have. So I know when you and I first met several months ago, and we were in Activate together with Rachel Ingome, and I had interviewed her a few days ago.
Mhm.
Um, and when we started together, I know you were really trying to pull together who that target audience was. You knew what you wanted to do, but trying to pin down to who you were going to be speaking to. Who was that? Who was your ideal niche to be able to do that? And I know we worked together a little bit on that, and you settled on the the busy moms, not necessarily those living out in the country and, and that
Right.
have all of the space and want to have the full garden and all of that, but those that need to incorporate it into what I would call more of a normal life,
Yeah.
in the city or in the suburbs. How did you come about that, and how, like, what was that experience like for you?
Yeah, sure. So when I first started my blog, I kind of focused on the term and the lifestyle of homesteading, which is really more of a kind of all or nothing lifestyle, where you have your own gardens and your own animals, and you're really trying to be completely self-sufficient, whether that's completely off the grid. Of course, there's varying degrees, and the term means means something different to everyone. But that was kind of what I was focusing on, was the term homesteading, because that was the journey that my family was kind of on. But through the market research and everything that we learned how to do and activate, I realized that the term homesteading wasn't resonating with the target audience that I wanted to, nor was I the right fit to be teaching other people how to homestead, because I'm not there. There's so many amazing homesteaders, fifth generation homesteaders out there that have amazing resources, and I'm just starting on my journey. So that took a lot of market research and kind of reflection on what I was doing myself. So I kind of took a step back from using the term homesteading, and that kind of like focusing on people that want to go completely off the grid or country, because I don't think that's the majority of people anyways. I think that a lot of people have a drive to be more self-sufficient, to learn these more traditional skills, to cook for themselves, to grow their own food, to be more natural and more make their own homemade and homegrown, all that kind of stuff. But it's having the time and the planning and organization to fit it into your lifestyle. So my goal now that I've kind of niched down is that I'm focusing on more of a simple living, self-sufficiency for busy moms or families in a modern lifestyle. So I don't want you to quit your job and move out to the country. I don't want you to cut your electric and go off the grid, but we can do these things in your current lifestyle, so that's how I've kind of worked through. But yeah, it definitely was a lot of the market research we went through Activate, and I talked to a lot of people that were already some of my readers and everything, and the term homesteading was not what they wanted to do. They weren't interested in having goats or anything, but they wanted to learn how to bake their own bread and that kind of stuff. So yeah, the market research definitely is so important.
Definitely.
And
Yeah.
you definitely helped me too with niching down. We had a conversation and kind of like a meeting, and you helped me with that. And all the things that you talked about, really, which was like what my values were, what my passion was, and all those kinds of things really came all together. So it was so helpful.
Yeah, I remember when we spoke, and I remember talking to you about my cousin who lives in the middle of St. Louis and has chickens
Right.
and would love to have a goat and does some of her own gardening and things, but she's
Yeah.
in the middle of St. Louis, and so she's one
Yeah.
of those urban, urban gardeners.
Yeah. Well, definitely possible. It's not like it's not possible. You can definitely do these things, but I think that a lot more people now don't want to. They want the best of both worlds, I think.
Right, right.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that you have a free download that we can get on your website called the Simple Living Starter Kit. Can you tell us a little bit about what you have in there?
Sure. So it's a simple living starter kit is what I've called it, and it's got a couple different resources. It's got a planner. The main thing that I try to help and focus on is that, because there are so many things that you can learn, learn and to really build your self-sufficient knowledge base, so whether it's cooking, making your own products and all that stuff. There's so many things to do. And many times people that want to learn how to do this stuff want to do it all right now. So one of the things that is in this starter kit is that it's a planner which helps you figure out what your priorities are, and kind of helps you make a plan of like, okay, first I want to cook from scratch, but I'm not really interested in having a garden right now. So let me focus on the cooking. And then that really help, and kind of step it out that way. That way you're not getting overwhelmed. You're not feeling guilty for not doing it all, and once you master a skill or something like that, the knowledge, then you can move on to something else. And that's really how you fit it all in. It's like a lifelong learning. So there's a resource in there for that. There's some other printouts, from scratch pantry checklist. So everything you should have in your pantry if you want to start cooking from scratch. There's a gardening plan, how to plan your first garden, and definitely is a great resource to get you started on this simple living journey.
When you were creating your starter kit, one of the things that I'm really curious about, and this is more of a tactical type of question, what did you
Hmm.
create it in? Because I think that's something that a lot of people, when they're, especially when they're first getting started and they know they need to create something on their website to help, to help collect emails, something that you can give somebody for free so that they'll, in exchange,
Hmm.
give you their email. And I think a lot of people get kind of scared when they're like, I don't even know what to create it in. What do I, how do I do that? And
Right.
so what did you use? What tools did you use to create, a software or whatever? What did you use to create yours?
So I definitely did a couple things. For the resources that were more like a planner workbook, I used Canva. So that's I mean, so many people use Canva for just laying out like images and doing some kind of workbook, that kind of thing. So I have a planner that was done in that. I also have the garden 5-day planner, which is done in that as well. And then I did have some of the other printouts, the checklists and those kinds of things are done in Canva. Now, I do have a spreadsheet at one point, which is included in that as well, which is more of a home, not homestead, like a simple living home project tracker. That's just done in Excel. And that all of these are housed on a landing page in my website that you get a link to when you sign up. Hmm.
That's great. I know
Yeah.
I use Canva extensively as well. That's what my freebies and my
Hmm.
workbooks are created in. I do some of the creation in Word, and so especially if there's a lot of words. And this one of the hints that I got in one of the other groups that I'm in was to screenshot, like if you have a lot of words that need to be laid out, do it in Word, or I've got Pages. I'm on a Mac, so do it there.
Hmm.
Screenshot it, and then you drop it in as an image in your workbook on Canvas so that
Oh
it
yeah,
stays all exactly. And I was like, oh, what a time saver!
it is. I don't think I've done that yet. Thanks
Yeah,
for that
it
tip.
was like here's a little nugget for you today. Um,
Yeah.
that was a true time saver, because I had some things that were already created in Word and the layout was good. It's like I don't want to have to create that all over again. And so yeah, just to screenshot it and then drop it in was perfect. It worked
Yeah.
perfectly. Um,
Good tips.
yeah. The only thing that, have you considered using Google Docs for your spreadsheet so that because like I know with a Mac, I don't have
Yeah.
Excel, it'll import into numbers. Have you considered using Google Docs or Google
Um,
or Sheet?
I haven't revisited any of that. So yeah, I probably should do that. That would be helpful. Um, Probably, and to get away from like the landing page itself, like housed in the website, to use like a Google. Yeah, that would definitely be helpful. Yeah, I'll check that out. Thank you.
Just an idea, especially when it comes to
Hmm.
spreadsheets. I know I was recently helping with a fundraiser for an organization that I'm involved with, and one of the things that I had to do was keep track of the auction items that were donated and who donated it and things like that. And the person who did it before had an Excel, then I had to import it, so then it's in numbers, and now to send it back out to whoever the next person is, then they've got. So I'm like, I'm putting it in Google Docs. I'm going to go put it in
Hmm.
Google Sheets so that forever, whoever can just maintain it there, and then we're not having to create these different versions and everything. So that's what made me think of it when you said you had an Excel file, which like
Yeah, that'd be
it would
helpful.
definitely import into numbers, and a lot of people more people probably have Excel
Hmm.
than don't.
That's a good. Yeah, that's a good point. I'll check that out today.
Just a thought.
Okay.
So is there anything else that you want to tell us about just your journey? How, you'd mentioned you really were decided you were doing this for your family, and you've
Mhm.
gained some knowledge, and now you really want to help share that knowledge. What made you decide to make it a business instead of just
Well,
the blog that you had before?
right. So I started with a blog to just kind of honestly kind of help keep myself accountable. I mean, with doing all these things, there's a lot of projects and stuff. So I figured I'm going to write about it. I'm just going to write what I'm doing on this blog. It'll keep me accountable, keep my momentum going, because it is a lot of work to do the garden and keep up that kind of stuff. So that's kind of what I started with, doing that way. But then I kind of wanted to turn it into more of a business because I do see a need for people needing to learn and should be learning self-sufficiency skills and sharing that with their family. We have two small boys, so I'm trying to make it a family thing and to teach these things to them. And then as it's grown, and I've taught them, they're always in the kitchen with me or out in the garden. So I'm just trying to instill these work ethics and self-sufficiency skills for them. So I've just wanted to share that with other people. And then also, I took a step back from my full-time position, so I'm home with them. So I just have more time and more availability to help other people. And I just thought that, I should start trying to do that. So yeah, that's kind of how I progressed from just doing a blog into trying to make it a little bit more than that.
That's really exciting. I
Yeah.
love seeing the progression, and watching people move from that blog to business.
Mm-hmm.
And because I do believe, and I'm actually trained on this yesterday around like why I'm in business, and just we have such gifts that we've been given by God,
Mm-hmm.
and the knowledge that we obtain through life and our experiences aren't meant for us to just hoard and hold on to share and share those experiences, and cut somebody else's learning curve in half if we can.
You're right, definitely.
And just for me, I know a lot of my why of being in business is to help other women entrepreneurs, other women who maybe they have that desire, but they're not quite sure how to go about it, to start a business, or they're not sure if they really have something worthy of a business. But if you have experiences and you have knowledge that you've gained, there is somebody out there that is definitely willing to pay to cut that learning curve. And because they want to get there faster instead of having to do all the research. Let me just go pay somebody who's already done it, and you can tell me how to do it and when to do it and all of that.
Right. Yeah.
And so a question that I have for you, and that I'm actually starting to kind of ask everybody as I go along, is what does letting God lead mean to you in your business and in your life?
Put me on this. Yeah, I think that for me, that really has a lot to do with what I'm trying to do, and that's becoming a little bit more intentional in just all areas of my life. So, and I really do think that this lifestyle has helped me embrace that, because it's just allowing me to be more thoughtful in everything that I do. So before I start, like letting God lead, before I start, just any decision, I just kind of taking a second to reflect, or to think a little bit more and have a little bit more intentional actions. That's kind of what it means to me, I would say. And that does, like I said, go with this whole idea of simple, intentional living. So I don't know, it's all kind of come together for me, I think, in all aspects. So it's really become something that I'm passionate about and hope to share with others.
That's perfect. Yeah, I think that's what God really wants us to do, is be intentional in everything, even the mundane things. There's a purpose to it, and there's a reason for it, and and that everything that we do, whether it's planting something new in the garden that He created, or it's learning to clean up our house a little bit differently, everything, every bit of it, He cares about all of it. And so being able to tie that in is fantastic. And I love that as you're trying to make new decisions in your business, that's where you're starting, is okay, let me reflect on this, let me take that and say, is this really what I need to be doing? Because that's what I do as well.
Definitely.
I have these thoughts, and I have lots of them all the time, and
lots of thoughts.
And I'm like, and I have to say, okay, is that for now? Is that for later? Is that just me? Or is that something you gave me?
Yeah.
It can be hard to discern that. But one of the things that I realized, like my coaching business, he gave me almost 5 years ago the idea and the business plan for this, but it wasn't the time yet. So I've sat on it for a few years before it was like, until it was like, then I finally got that now's the time.
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of hard in those few years. I'm like, you gave me this
Yeah.
whole business plan. What am I doing? You haven't told me go yet, but I have the
Yeah.
whole plan. So
Yeah.
it's been neat though over the last couple of years to see it really form and come together and become the business that it is.
Yeah,
Uh,
definitely.
and knowing that, he's in the middle of it totally. And so
Right.
I don't have to, it takes the pressure off of like, I don't have to worry about failure because I know he's told me to do it and he's giving me the step-by-step directions. And then I have, my group of women in our coaching
Mhm.
group that hold me accountable.
Yes. Exactly. I say that is definitely what's one of the great things about actually is being held accountable.
Right.
Yeah.
And just being
Mhm.
able to bounce the ideas off of each other and say, hey, I created
Oh
this page.
yeah.
Will y'all go out and look at it? Does it make sense?
Yeah. It's so valuable.
Yeah. That's
Mhm.
actually one of the things that's on my list to do over the next couple weeks is look at every page of my website and see what needs to go. I was talking to a friend of mine this morning. I said, I need to look at every single page because I wrote all of it a year ago. I've
Yeah.
made some changes since then. I've clarified a few things for myself. So it's time for me to go back and redo, but not from scratch because a lot of it's right and it's in the right
Yeah.
place, but it's just like, like we've talked about in some of our copy coaching is, write it, cut it in half, and then cut it in half again.
Yeah.
It's time for me to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I
There's
agree.
lots of words.
It's about time for me to do that also. There's so much to do, but it's so much fun. I just enjoy like putting it all together and like just growing and just doing something. I don't know. I love it.
Oh, business is fun.
Yeah,
It really
it
is.
is.
It really is. It grows you and it stretches you, and
Yeah,
then you have fun and you meet new people and you meet amazing people, and then
right.
you make new friends. It's been fantastic. I've loved being in this part of this kind of time of my life and in getting this
Yeah.
business started.
And I think you had asked earlier about like how I progressed into doing a business. It's just like I mean, as you start learning new things about blogging and then it's just like, okay, just take off because I just love the entrepreneurial like drive of doing this kind of stuff. So I don't know. Here I am. We'll see what happens. But yeah, it's so much fun. I enjoy it. So yeah.
Awesome. So how can we connect with you?
So I blog at wingitonthehomestead.com, and you can grab my Simple Living Starter Kit if you are interested in getting started in this kind of lifestyle. That is at simplelivingstarterkit.com.
Very good. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I know that my audience will get so much out of this. One, just encouragement of how you progress from doing that free activity that was good for you and good for your soul into now I can actually monetize this and make this a business. And I think that's
Definitely.
an encouraging story. Thank you so much
Yeah,
for sharing it.
so much. Thank you so much for having me. It's been a lot of fun.
It was such a pleasure interviewing Stephanie today. I hope you got so much encouragement out of what she's been through and how she's proceeding. And I hope that there is something within her business that is going to be helpful to you. Definitely go down her Simple Living Starter Kit. And if you haven't already, I have a freebie as well. I have on my website, empoweredcreativitycoach.com, right there up at the top, you can download your own brand building cheat sheet. This cheat sheet is packed full of questions that you should be able to answer in your business. And it will generate content for you that you can pull into all of the pages of your website because it will define for you why you're in business, what's so important to you. It will help you really bring your personality out within your business. So go grab that at empoweredcreativitycoach.com.